I think I know really one of the things that's been bugging me, and it's not really following the political news as much as spending time checking heads at Daily Kos. I really can't describe the kinds of these. A lot of these people think that of themselves as progressives, and they're all Democrats, pretty much. But there's so much of the, I don't know, people just with a bad strategic kind of ideology. Like the two things that really been bugging me there. One, they're saying to vote for Christ. To vote for Christ. This is I think the former governor, if I'm right, in Florida. He's running for Senate, and he lost his primary to it's either Mark or Marco Rubio, who's currently leading, um, and then is running it as an independent. And these Democrats and progressives are saying vote for him, and they want Meek to drop out, and on the idea that he's the lesser of two evils, both of which are Republicans. And and they say, oh, he's going to caucus with the Democrats and stuff. It's like Joe Lieberman caucused with the Democrats after doing the same thing. He didn't go to the Republicans. I mean, it bothers me, that kind of thinking. That's why we've got nowhere with these guys in this Democratic Party. And then the other thing is this don't ask, don't tell thing, where this is struck down by a judge, right? And Obama's attorney general is appealing that. And Obama said, just when he was asked about this, I didn't see it, but yesterday he's quoted in the MTV town hall, it will end on his watch, and so on and so forth. And the defense is, well, the attorney general is independent of the president, which he's on he's on the cabinet. I know there should be a tradition of letting him deal with legal issues as legal issues and not politicizing it, but saying it's like separate or independent. That's one defense. We have to. That's our job to fight to appeal this kind of thing. And they not only appealed it, and they not only appealed it right away before the election. They have 60 days, but they asked for a stay of the order that halted Don't Ask, Don't Tell. And I'm sorry. There's war criminals running around that were running this country. Democrats and Republicans, both. Definitely some Republicans. Guantanamo is illegal. There's just all kinds of laws he could use that excuse of, well, I hate to prosecute people that were following their job, but we're supposed to do the law. No, he doesn't do it for that, but he does it for Don't Ask, Don't Tell. I mean, Don't Ask, Don't Tell was dead. And he's resurrecting it. And even during the stay, the military is saying, hey, don't change your conduct. It might affect, we don't know how it's going to turn out. And there's that one defense, and then the other defense too is like, well, the president shouldn't decide that. He should let the Secretary of Defense and the leaders of the military decide that. And the people at De La Costa that are saying this kind of thing, it's like somebody said, no, he could just order this and that and do various things. He could stop the prosecution. He could do these. He could have just not. And they're like, can you imagine the carping from the right about activist judges if we allowed that? Yeah. Oh no, I hope the right doesn't start carping. That would be a brand new thing. That would be something to deal with all anew. Like they're gonna. Anyway, it's ridiculous. But also, it's such an unconstitutional thing. We have a civilian leader of the military for a reason. Now, of course, I would expect him as a good manager to listen to advice from his generals and whatnot, especially on matters of military engagement. But on a social issue like this, I mean, I don't know, Truman integrated the military. They say there was something like a 19% approval rating for that. That turned out great. We have to let the military. I don't like this painting a picture that the military is that independent, that the president can't make an executive decision about it. That it's its own thing, it's its own entity, its own culture that we pay with our tax dollars, a huge amount of our tax dollars, but we're not their boss. The president can't be their boss representing us that we elect. You know, people in the military don't even have their constitutional rights. They're exempt from all that. So what the hell is this huge culture of hundreds of thousands of armed people, and we can't boss them around? What? And furthermore, those arguments would make more sense if he'd issued a presidential order. I mean, I understand, he didn't issue a presidential order. That could have been a conflict in the branches because the Congress passed this don't ask, don't tell. And then the other thing is, oh, well, Congress has to repeal it. Well, hello, they've had a chance. Oh, they're really, eager to. And then people are telling the LGBT or whatever the order is supposed to be, community, oh, right, well, if you think the Republicans are going to be better, then fine, I don't even care anymore, or I do care. It's like, hello, these people are the voters. You don't get to keep them in your back pocket. And also, as much as I dislike conservatives, well, not conservatives, but conservative policies and rule, and I don't want Republicans in control, it comes down to, do you prefer somebody that says, hey, I don't agree with you and I'm going to fight that? Or do you prefer somebody who says, I agree with you fully, we're going to get that done, and then backstabs you and doesn't actually act on that? I'd rather have the honest one. I'm sorry. I can work with someone honest that I disagree with and try to get in someone honest that I do agree with. But this whole idea of, let's get a liar in there and he'll lie the right way that helps us out, and we'll just... and they're demonizing like, oh, it's the end of the world. We get Republican presidents anyway. If we get one because a president that said for sure this is going to end on his watch revives it after the judicial branch has ended it, and we're going to have people saying, oh, well, we can't have that because they'll just complain about activist judges. Let them, let them. So that's the judicial branch. And then the weird thing is the political expediency of it. He's still out there saying, we're going to stop it on my watch. So what kind of political points is he going to get doing this right before rather than right after the election? The conservatives or moderates are going to go, ooh, actually, maybe he isn't an Islamic Manchurian candidate from Kenya, born in Kenya. Yeah, this has proved that to me. At the most, they'll think, oh, he's trying to pander, or even worse, he's scared of us, and he has to, or he doesn't actually have the... That's what's really bugging me now. The account I've opened over there, and I reactivated really a couple months ago for comments, It's a satire thing, It's not really a full engagement. It's me... I once had an account, well, I still do, but I once used an account at Red State a lot, and I was very open about who I was. They knew who I was. And they would joke that, and I got along with them, but they would joke that I was doing conservatives in the mist, like anthropology with conservatives, because I was. That's generally what I do. I'm an attitude junkie. I like to collect attitudes. I like to know how people think. Sometimes people give how you think, and they see you want to know, and they think, oh, good, this guy's eating up. He's going to agree with me. It's like they get disappointed because it's like, no, I'm just finding out. Sorry, I wrote down in the notebook. Great. It affects my opinions. What more do you want? Yeah, it affects my opinions, and I'm exposed. What more do you expect? If people listen to me and get exposed to my opinions, that's like, well, I've already maxed out on my appreciation. If they happen to agree with me, frankly, often that makes me nervous. It's like that they'll agree without really understanding me. Which is always a problem. And that's what I've been doing at Daily Kos. I thought, well, I'll check their heads. I'll see what's happening in that community and what role they're playing. And they're playing the role I expected as a result of them purging all the feminists, all the traditional progressives, and really any independent thinkers. I myself got blocked for life. Evidently not. But from there, because running another political blog, I promoted to our front page an article by a former employee of Marcos that was critical of Marcos's business and business model. Um, I still think that this guy was right, except for uh, he underestimated how long the Democratic establishment would feed ad money to Marcos to keep this appearance of net roots thing going. Um, but he still seemed right in the sense that they had this big ambitious software project, never seems to have gone anywhere, and so on and so forth. Um, I think I'm gonna have to. They call the blogs or whatever. It's a community blog. These kinds. It's based on Scoop, which is based on a thing called Slashdot. You can write your own little blogs, but then some of them will get promoted. Some of these Scoop systems are entirely the community promotes them. At Daily Codes, the way it is a bunch of front page posters post the front page ones, but there's a recommended diary list that is promoted by users clicking recommend. And I think I need to, and they're called diaries instead of blogs, and I think it comes from the Scoop software language, and I think really to get over this, I'm just gonna have to reveal myself. I mean, I was user number 933 there. This is, I guess they have a couple million people a month visit, and so. If I reveal myself, I mean, Marcos knows or used to know who I was. I mean, I think they'll remember that they want me blocked, and I think that's what I have to do to purge myself. So I think that'll make me feel better. I think I've being in the sewer, and I'm doing this head checking. But what has happened from this engagement towards this new election here, this next election, is I'm investing a little bit too much. I'm also talking, I'm making comments about what I actually think. It was supposed to be a satire account, filtered through a character that I had created, not dishonest, but confusing and satirical, and and not with malicious intent, but it was supposed to be a particular thing, and now, this don't ask, don't tell, and the Chris thing came out, and I'm kind of like, what? That seemed, but he was always a Republican. Why would he caucus with the? I'm using real thoughts that are out of character for this account I've created, and I think maybe I have to. These kinds of things, they affect me too much. I mean, it's you could call it a problem, or you could call it just the way I am, but thoughts affect me a lot. My experiences, when I feel I'm channeling a lot of anger and a sense of righteousness, like, because I feel plenty righteous, trashing bullies or bully supporters, for example. But just the fact that it's anger coursing through me is like, I don't want to run on that energy. That energy goes in the wrong direction for me. It's not healthy. So yeah, that's a big grab bag. I mean, I think the real things to discuss are this Florida Senate race and the don't ask, don't tell. But of course, to me, it's sort of wrapped up in this feeling that I'm having about my online conversations the last few days. I've been having the feeling the last few days, but I think it relates to things stretching probably further back than that. So, yeah. Anyway, that's what I'm thinking. All right, cheers.